I finally bought a house.
$720,000. That is the average cost of a home in Loudoun County, Virginia, where I was raised. The median home price is $808,000, which is up 7.3% since last year. I'm not making those statistics up. They're statistics from Zillow and Redfin, two leading online home market applications. For young home buyers, these prices are pretty much unachievable unless you have help or win the lottery. However, move to the west just one county and you'll see the prices drop by more than 50% according to Redfin. Here in Jefferson County, the median home price is $396,000 and the median for Berkeley County is just $299,000.
A significant amount of money still, but way more affordable than the $800,000 to $1 million that you would be paying in Loudoun County, Virginia. This right here is why thousands of people are moving away from Loudoun County and into neighboring counties like Jefferson and Berkeley, and why I decided to move as well.
At 23 years old, I don't have $60,000 lying around for a 20% down payment on one of these $300,000 houses. I thought I was absolutely cooked, but that was until I started diving a little deeper.
When you go through these models, there's often somebody there to kind of guide you around, tell you what they do good and what they tend to feature on the houses, and kind of go with you through the financials at the end. And when I did this for this company here, the third one that we toured, they told me something that I didn't think was possible. 3%, 5%, and 10% down options for first-time homebuyer programs. This is when I started to go, well, hold up, I could actually do this. I went through all the different options that I wanted. The total price for the new construction that I spec'd out was about $320,000, and so 3% of that, it's only $9,700. In the grand scheme of things, that's not really that much. What's that, like 97 packs of Pokemon cards at $100 each? You know what I'm saying? So after talking to them a little bit further, they discussed that the earnest money, which is the money that you pay up front, telling them that you're serious about purchasing, essentially that money rolls into the down payment. So this specific builder is asking for 3% in earnest money, and that can be paid over multiple payments of 1.5%. So 1.5% due at signing, 1.5% due at time of loan approval, and then that's it for the earnest money. Now, because I don't like high monthlies, you can bring another 2% to close, making it 5% down, and your rates will be a little bit lower and the monthlies will be a little bit lower as well. Now, I do have a full-time job and I do live below my means, so I thought that I could make this happen. I went to the spreadsheets and started really trying to figure out whether I could do this or not.
Okay, let's break this down. I know this stuff kind of can look intimidating, but it's really just three main things that you need to understand. Number one, how much the home costs, aka the sticker price. In my case, on the spreadsheet here, $322,985. Then, how much you actually need up front. You could do 3%, 5%, 10%, 20%, etc., as long as it is in intervals of 5. Some lenders do this, some don't. There's many different kinds of loans. The two that I looked at were FHA and conventional. For FHA, the pros are low credit score approvals, minimum down payments, higher DTI consideration. I will explain what that is later. Like we said earlier, more lenient with credit issues. If you have considering factors, they will go even higher on the DTI. The cons is upfront mortgage insurance. Mortgage insurance does not end. It maintains through the entire life cycle of the loan. And you cannot buy fixer-uppers, rental properties, etc. The building has to be your primary residence. On the other side, conventional. better rates with higher credit, down payment flexibility, mortgage insurance goes away after 20% equity, limits are larger, requires a little bit of a higher credit score, and then the DTI limits are a little bit higher as well. This number that I've brought up a few times now, DTI, is debt to income ratio. All it is you take your monthly cost that you pay for the loan and divide it by your gross monthly income. So as you can see here in the spreadsheet, I have the DTI sections down at the bottom for each type of loan. On the left side is FHA, on the right side is conventional. If I did, for example, 5% down in an FHA loan, it would get me $2,231.70. Divide that by the gross monthly income over here on the right, you get 45.86, which is well under the DTI limit for FHA. For conventional, same deal. I'll go ahead and highlight the cells, take the monthly cost, divide that by your gross monthly income, and you get a percentage, for me, 47.59. Now, if you are going into buying a home with a significant other or a marriage, both of you have to qualify combined for the loan if you are putting both names on the loan. If not, if you're just putting one, you have to qualify for the entire thing yourself. Going back to the upfront down payment on conventional, 3%, this is what it looks like. $9,689.55, 5%, $16,149, 10%, $32,200. You don't need all $32,000 for 10%. You'll just get a little bit better monthly payments. You can see the difference between if I put 3% down versus if I put 10% down. Now, in terms of total cost, I have not just included the loan. You'll see here on the Q column, I've included the rates here for each, the property tax in the state, homeowner's insurance estimation, and then the HOA, because more than likely the home that you will be purchasing will be in an HOA, which you would have to be paying every month for. So this all combined with the principal and interest equals these numbers here in yellow. So to quickly recap, home price, down payment, loan amount. Loan amount is your home purchase price minus your down payment, because you are putting your down payment money up front, so you don't need a loan for that payment, so for that cost. So $322,000 minus, if you did 3%, this $9,000 figure, and then whatever that equals would be your loan amount. Interest rate, you can think about that as the cost of borrowing. Interest rates here reflect credit score, reflect how much money you put down, reflect the time of your loan. If your loan is longer, you'll have a higher interest rate. If your loan is shorter, you'll have a lower. If you put more down, you'll have a lower interest rate. If you put less down, you'll have higher. Basically, if the bank can trust you, you'll pay less in interest. If the bank can't trust you, you'll pay more in interest. It's not quite that simple, but you can think about it that way and it works. Once you understand those numbers, home price, down payment, loan amount, interest rate, monthly costs, the rest is just deciding whether or not you're comfortable with the monthly payment. If you can afford it, do your research, do the financial analysis, and you'll be able to understand all of this.
Once I had this all laid out and visualized, I then realized it wasn't a dream, it was possible. I ran all the numbers 100 times, asked a million questions, and sent out thousands of emails back and forth between the lender, the builder, and finally, after all of that, all the searching, all the number crunching, and all the questions, it happened. I finally signed. At 23 years old, I was now officially a homeowner. But here's the part some people don't talk about in other YouTube videos, right? A lot of people, and me included, talk about the money, the time, the stress, right? Once I said yes, it wasn't just, hey, put your hand there, right? It was contract after addendum after addendum. And you have to read every page. Sometimes when you're playing a game, doing an activity, you just read through, skim through the top, sign, and then you're off to the races. Not with this. And I cannot stress this enough. This will be one of, if not the number one biggest purchase you make in your lifetime. So you have to make sure everything is lined up. And if something isn't quite right or not what you agreed on, make sure they fix it in the contract, or that you have writing in email, not verbal. Verbal doesn't hold up in court. If you end up taking your builder or lender to court, verbal agreements will not work. It has to be in writing. And sometimes contracts will even say that they will have a clause that says whatever this contract says is final and no other evidence is able to be used in court. So make sure you read every page of every contract and make sure you understand it. Heck, use ChatGPT if you don't understand legalese, right? There were definitely some moments where I was saying, did I make the right choice? Is this a mistake? But every single step, every signature, every initial, and every date made it one step closer to actually being in the home and not in this apartment. And yes, I am filming in an apartment. And honestly, just seeing the progress end to end from an idea in my head to in 10 months it'll be complete is what really makes it worth it. And no matter what people tell you, you don't need $60,000 or a really, really high down payment. You just need to do the research, find the affordability, and actually believe that it's possible. So if you're watching this and you're like me, you're on social media and you're just getting stuff shoved down your throat about it's impossible to buy a home, whether you're Gen Z, millennial, or anything else, it is not impossible. It is tough, but not impossible. If I can do it in this economy at 23, then anybody can. That's pretty much it for this video. I hope to continue it with a house tour. Thank you for watching.